Hey everyone, I'm Timmy Scott, and if you're new here, welcome. As you can tell by the title of this video, I want to talk about the Leah Remini special on Jehovah's Witnesses. I know I said before I would take a break or whatever from making Jehovah's Witness videos for a while or whatever. But I wanted to leave my thoughts and review on the special. Before I had watched it, and it would show clips that it was going to be on A&E and all that, I would joke to my mom and my friend that I'm going to cry to the special or whatever. Maybe because subconsciously I knew there was going to be something that was going to happen that would cause that for me to happen. And sure enough, unfortunately, the topic was about suicide. And that was a pretty heavy subject for me. Because, as I mentioned in my previous video, if I can, I'm going to leave it in the description below in case anyone's new and hasn't watched it yet. I'll leave it there for you to watch for yourselves. So, when they talked about suicide, I actually did wind up crying to it because, again, coming from someone who was born in that cult for pretty much my entire childhood, I know what it's like. They brainwashed me to believe that teaching where if someone isn't a Jehovah's Witness, they don't care about you. I knew it wasn't true, but because I was so brainwashed into believing it, it made me feel really suicidal, unfortunately. Not something I wanted, but that was the teaching, the thought process that was all I knew, was guilt instilled in me. And that's their unfortunate tactic that they'd like to use on their followers. Guilt, manipulation, and that's pretty much it. That's their two main favorite tactics they like to use on their followers to get them to believe that stuff. What I've learned in the last few years is that religious people, regardless of a cult or not, well, except for the church I go to anyway now, regardless of the cult you're in or whatever, even if it is a Jehovah's Witness, obviously, religious people will tell you what you want to hear. Like, for example, what their favorite thing they like to do is tell people they're going to be in paradise, when it's a complete lie. It's not really going to happen. But that's just something they like to tell their followers because they want them to believe that, to get them guilted into staying into that cult. And if anyone won't serve them or serve Jehovah, they're gonna die in Armageddon. That doesn't work that way. When you die, and then that's it. In my case, I believe in the afterlife. I believe there's another side. So when you cross over, religion doesn't matter to anybody. Or at all. Well, yeah. Religion doesn't matter to anyone on the other side, in the afterlife. Again, religion will tell people only what they want you to hear. They don't really care about their followers. They just want to tell you what they want you to hear. Even if it means, again, that you're going to get into paradise when you're really not. It's just an excuse to keep people in because that's their fear tactic. That's their way of keeping people in. And the thing about the Jehovah's Witnesses is they got so caught up in their own lie, they don't know how to get out of it. So they have to keep lying in order so they don't get caught in their own lie. That's the unfortunate part about their followers, that they don't realize they've been lying to their followers for so long. They don't know how to get out of their own lie. I spent years feeling guilt and manipulation, or being manipulated, obviously, from obviously the Jehovah's Witnesses and my own parents. And that's all I ever knew. And as I mentioned before in my previous videos, once my friend had addressed what I went through, it opened me to seeing it a lot more. I mean, I knew before that I'm tired of feeling guilty and being manipulated and all that stuff, but I could never really, I guess, cross to where and why I was always feeling that way. I was tired of constantly feeling guilty and being guilted and manipulated and lied to and all that stuff. But I could never address why. And again, until my friend had addressed that's all I knew, it again helped me see a lot of things that I, again, unfortunately couldn't see because that's what Jehovah's Witnesses like to do. There's a lot of cults out there like them, unfortunately, that like to excessively mind control people, telling them what they want to hear. Like, again, for example, in the Jehovah's Witnesses, oh, you'll get into paradise. Paradise will be around the corner. As long as you serve Jehovah, you'll live forever on paradise earth. And then those who don't believe in him won't be in the new paradise, in the new kingdom, or whatever you want to call it. It's, again, unfortunate that they tell you that just to get you to believe what they want you to hear. And pretty sure I said this, but I'll say it anyway. They only tell you what you want to hear because they're so caught up in their own lives themselves that they can't get out of it. They can't be honest with their followers, why they are the way they are and what they're doing. They have a negative impact on their followers, and a lot of them are unfortunately negative themselves because of the excessive mind control being done to them. And that's pretty much it. And basically what I'm getting down to is I know again for a fact that it's not true that people that aren't Jehovah's Witnesses don't love me, which again, that I know that isn't true. But being born and raised to believe that really damaged me. And my parents, especially my father, used to guilt trip me into believing that. So that drove me to feeling suicidal growing up. I mean, I'm not anymore, obviously. I've been gone for a little better than 5 years, literally almost 6 now. But it was one of those things that, again, I couldn't control, because when your parent who's a Jehovah's Witness is that brainwashed into believing what they're telling him, it's unfortunate. You're not allowed to express your feelings. I was always depressed as a kid growing up, and I knew it was because of the cult, but again, you're not allowed to express your feelings in that cult. You're not allowed to tell them how you feel, because they'll tell you that, oh, don't be angry, just rely on Jehovah and he'll make it all better. That makes it even worse. Again, especially with the Jehovah's Witnesses, they only tell you what they want you to hear. And that's something I wish they could see the damage they're doing. But again, they're so caught up in their own lie, they don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to get out of it themselves, so they have to continue lying to their followers, so they're not caught up in their own lies, unfortunately. They're setting a negative impact, making them act ways that is unfortunate. That's all I got. That Leah Remini special, again, made a really heavy subject, talking about suicide and sexual abuse and covering it up and all that stuff, and shunning their own family members just because they won't serve Jehovah. That's not love, that's hate. If a cult is telling you to shun your family members just because they have a different belief, that's not love, that's hate. And if you'd rather do that, then if you'd rather shun your own family members because they won't believe the same thing you believe or whatever, or you get the idea. If you haven't watched that special yet, take my advice and watch it. There's more that I wanted to address about it, but for now, this is what I wanted to address. A little background of them and what I went through and all that stuff. And like I said before, I know my family likes to stalk and watch my videos. So if they're stalking and watching it, just know that I love you guys. I miss you guys. If you want to talk to me, don't be afraid to just say hi without religion being involved. It's unfortunate that that will never happen to me, because I've got people that really do love me for who I am, not because of what a religious cult tells me how to live. So, again, but with that being said, that's what my thought and process and review on the special was. So again, check it out if you haven't yet. I know a lot of you have, but if those who are new and haven't yet, you should have it on your A&E channel, and should be in there, so in the guide somewhere. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time.